Russian forces in Ukraine have lost more than 4,500 soldiers since February 3rd, according to data released Friday by Kyiv's military. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that in addition to 4,540 human casualties, Russia also lost 42 tanks, 103 armored fighting vehicles, 104 artillery systems, and 36 drones during the same time period. Going by Ukraine's tally, Russia has lost a total of 393,790 troops since Russian President Vladimir Putin launched his invasion on February 24, 2022. Putin's military has also lost 6,285 tanks, 11,921 armored fighting vehicles, and 7,209 drones during the course of the war. Tallies for Russian casualties have been difficult to confirm throughout the war, and Ukraine's figures are higher than many other estimates. The Kremlin rarely releases its own numbers, and when it does, the figures are thought to be undercounted. Ukraine's military on Friday also reported of heavy fighting on the front lines over the past day. A message posted on Facebook by the General Staff said its forces had been involved in 91 combat clashes since Thursday, which reportedly saw Russia launch 49 airstrikes and conduct 52 attacks using multiple launch rocket systems. During the day, the Air Force of Ukraine's armed forces targeted 5 clusters of enemy personnel, weapons, and military equipment, the General Staff message read. Units of rocket forces hit 2 clusters of personnel, weapons, and military equipment, as well as 2 command points and 2 enemy ammunition storage points. Kyiv's forces successfully repelled Russian attacks near Zolota Niva in the southeast, Ukraine's General Staff added in its report. Russian advances were also halted in the east near the Lyman front, as well as several attacks in the southern Zaporizhzhia region, Ukrainian officials said. According to geolocated footage observed by the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, Russian forces made marginal gains west of Bakhmut on Friday, while Ukraine's troops advanced southwest of Donetsk city. Fighting continued around the city near the villages of Bodanivka, Ivanivska, and Klishchivka, the think tank added in its Friday assessment on the war. Heavy fighting was also reported around Avdiivka, an eastern industrial village that has been a focal point of the war for months. The ISW reported Russian advances in the northern parts of Avdiivka, based on geolocated footage, and Russian military bloggers claimed that Moscow was continuing to advance into residential areas around the now mostly abandoned town. Ukraine is facing artillery shortages that could get worse as delays in Western aid threaten to undermine Kyiv's fight against Russia, the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, think tank has said. With US Congress stalled in agreeing further military aid for Kyiv, and Europe's anticipated failure to meet its pledge to provide 1 million artillery shells by March, concerns are growing about whether dwindling artillery could hand Russia an advantage on the battlefield. An unnamed US military official told UK daily business newspaper, The Financial Times, that delayed American aid could see Ukraine without Western assistance for an unspecified period. The official added that the Pentagon is particularly concerned about Ukraine's ability to maintain its air defense systems and ammunition supplies. The newspaper also cited a warning by a senior European diplomat that it will be difficult for Ukraine to keep its current positions without more Western weapons. Two American soldiers who have fought for Ukraine as part of its international brigade spoke to Newsweek on condition of anonymity. They have voiced their concerns about the lack of artillery they encountered on the front line. It's mostly an artillery and drone war. In my mind, I don't think the Ukrainians have had enough artillery, said one soldier who was on the front lines in Zaporizhzhia, Bakhmut, and Kupiansk, adding, Ukraine needs way more artillery. The guy with the biggest boom wins. So the more firepower you can throw it, the more chances you have of winning. Another soldier, who served as a paratrooper in the US military, said he noticed how Ukraine had a struggle with artillery when I was on the ground. They didn't have enough, and I think things would have really shaped up differently if we had that superiority. The pair were among a delegation organized by the R.T. Weatherman Foundation that spoke to US lawmakers in Washington, D.C. last month to give direct accounts of the war and describe the need for Congress to agree to more aid. The U.S. Senate is expected to vote soon on a $95 billion emergency spending package for Israel and Ukraine. $60 billion of the funds would go towards weapons and training for the Ukrainians. Ukraine's ambassador to the U.S., Oksana Markarova, told Bloomberg on Thursday that there is no shortage of people willing to fight. But we're running out of equipment. The ISW said on Friday the collapse of Western aid to Ukraine would likely mean that Kyiv's forces would not be able to hold off the Russian military. It could allow Moscow's troops to push all the way to western Ukraine, which borders NATO.
Заебись, меня аж прическа подкатила, бля. Ну я говорю, у меня аж прическа, бля.